Yo, what's going on, YouTube? Wanted to make a little intro WoW video for people who maybe are gonna visit my channel for WoW and don't know much about me, and yeah. So, my name's Mike, or PBM, or Polarbearmike is what I have gone by, or people call me online. I am a former Smite professional of 10 years. I'm not really into the whole accolade thing, but won a couple more world championships, won a bunch of other tournaments, regular season splits, all that type of stuff. And yeah, I've always played WoW on and off, and I've been grinding a lot lately, just having fun, getting good at a different game, playing with friends, playing with new groups of people. So I figured, what the heck, why not upload some stuff on YouTube? Why not stream it a little bit and just have some fun with it? So yeah, this key you're watching is from I want to say like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. It's pretty old, but it is just a priory where I think it was the first dungeon that I ever hit a 5 million overall. I've been trying to learn to get good at Unholy DK. I've mostly played tanks in WoW, actually, so I've played WoW for literally since it launched. I was 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old when it launched. And I've played it on and off ever since. The last expansion that I played a decent amount was launch of Legion. I was playing with a bunch of other like Smite professional players, and we had a group that we would play with. So we would do our normal, like, we'd have scrim sessions, and then we'd be done with our like quote unquote work day. You know, work playing a game professionally. By the way, nice job. But we would be done with that, and then we would all just hop on WoW and just hang out together and raid. And that was like early Legion was the last time I did that. I actually quit Legion because of the classic. I was playing Prop Paladin, and I got my first legendary late compared to everybody else. I was playing like literally like 6 to 8ish hours a day. And I finally got a legendary, and this was back when, at the start of Legion, you were time-gated on legendaries, and I got a really trash legendary as my first legendary, and I just was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not waiting it out to finally get a good legendary for my character. So I quit pretty shortly after that. I think I came back. That was Emerald Nightmare. I think I came back and played Tomb for a little bit, but anyways, I'm just ranting. So yeah, I've always kept up with WoW. I've always played it here and there. I've always watched like Race to World First content, all that type of stuff. And yeah, I've had a group of friends I've been playing with now that has been fun, and also like a raid team that we're all playing in together. So yeah, it's been a good time. The character you're watching me play is Unholy DK. I think I was starting to talk about that, but this is the first DPS spec I think I've ever mained in WoW, at least since, I think, in the Burning Crusade again when I'm like 10 years old. I was playing Survival Hunter, was a class I really liked. I think that's when they introduced Explosive Shot, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. But yeah, since then I've only played tank. I've played a lot of Prop Paladin. I've played a good bit of Blood DK and Prot Warrior, and then I've played a little bit of VDH, but for the most part, Prop Alley was the main I have. Just because I really like... So in Smite, I was a support player, and I just really love high utility characters. So I like being able to like spell word people, sack people. I like being able to have a lot of CC. Like, one of my favorite things in WoW, unironically, is just trying to kick as many things as I can. Like, playing Prop Alley and playing like Theater of Pain or something and getting literally like 50, 60, 70 kicks in a dungeon is so fun to me. I love it. So yeah, those are normally the specs I gravitate towards. I tried Unholy, or I tried Frost DK, I think, in Season 1 of The War Within, because it was slamming. I was like, sure, that sounds fun. And we just wanted like a couple meta specs to practice with in our friend group. And Frost was okay. I don't mind it. I'll probably play it here and there, like all 3 of the DK specs I don't mind, but I really love Unholy. It's just something about like I get like the ARPG feeling. of like kind of being like a necromancer a little bit, but also I really love beefy tank characters. I just think the aesthetic of them is cool, like their armor sets, their tier sets, and just kind of being like tanky in general is cool to me. So the combo of that and just, yeah, the theme of the class, I just love it. It's like Unholy. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to have like the wound mechanic and all of that. So I've been trying really hard to get good at it. I still think I'm kind of ass, to be honest. I've been going through a ton of logs for Raid, for M+, for everything. Honestly, the main reason I have my spell tracking over here is just so I can watch back stuff on my own and see what the heck I'm pressing and if I'm overcapping resources. Honestly, because this was like 2 weeks ago, I'm kind of cringing watching it because there's so many things that I'm watching my screen and I'm like, please press this button or whatever. And it's kind of bad. But anyways, yeah. That's most of what I've been playing. I've been grinding so hard, man. So I originally was asked to play Warrior by the group we're raiding in. And so for the first week, that was most of my attention, was on playing Warrior. And I played both Fury and Arms a little bit. And honestly, I was just ass at that class. It just did not click for me. Mentally, like, I didn't feel engaged. I didn't really enjoy the rotation or find it super fun. Main thing about Warrior, by the way, that I can't stand in WoW compared to other games. So playing Smite or playing other MOBAs or other genres of games, when I jump in the air, normally I expect there to be some level of like, not necessarily full immunity frames. Like if I have a dot on me, I expect to take damage like while I'm in the air. But I expect to be able to jump over stuff. And in WoW, I try to use Heroic Leap to like, for example, on Muggsy, I remember I wiped us once because we baited the bombs. This was like week 1 of Heroic Raid. We were trying to bait the bombs and then go to the other side of the room. So the bombs got baited between me and the second ad opposite of the room. And I tried to heroic leap over the ads, and I popped like 2 at once, went flying in the air, and just wiped us. And it just doesn't click with my brain, man. I just want to leap over stuff so badly, and I'm just not allowed to. So, yeah, Warrior was not for me. I was going to get benched immediately on that spec, no doubt about it. I was hot ass at it. But yeah, not to say I'm not at DK, but I'm at least a little bit more competent on DK. I've been trying to get better at it and analyzing logs and what I'm doing compared to what other top players are doing, stuff like that. And honestly, I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of the class now, which is nice. So yeah, the other character, so I've still been gearing my Warrior. I've been opening vaults as Prot, by the way, and I got a mythic tome, Priory Tome. So I need to be learning Prot Warrior because I'm sure that would be fun now that I have that. And then I've been playing I've geared my Paladin. I actually might turn that into a healer because we don't really have any healers in our friend group. So kind of the same thing I was saying earlier. I just love utility characters. So it'd be dope to learn a healer and kind of have that in my back pocket. And then the last character I have the biggest rat druid you've ever seen in your life. I was originally gearing it to be a bear, but really similar to Warrior, I just could not stand playing bear. It was just, I was unironically playing bear with my scroll wheel. Like I think it was like scroll up was Moonfire and scroll down was Ironfur, and then I think I had to have one keybind for Thrash and Kick, and that's all I needed basically. I literally felt like I was playing a 2-button spec. It was so dumb. So yeah, it wasn't for me. And then I got I think I got a Warbound on that character. It's wearing a Warbound Jaster Diamond, a Warbound Eye of Kazan, and then it also got it also, out of the Time Walking cache a couple weeks ago, it got a House of Cards. And that was with me doing literally no content on that character. So I started doing some Rat 10s with my friend group, and that character is just randomly geared. I'm actually going to put a lot of work into it this upcoming weekend because I hadn't set up a thing. I didn't have action bars set up. I just put it on Boomkin. Didn't read a single talent. Didn't read what anything does on that class. And yeah, so probably some Druid content, some Boomy. I'm probably going to end up having 2 of the OP Mythic Plus specs, which is nice, between Unholy DK and Boomkin, and then that Warrior is having an identity crisis, but I'm going to keep gearing it to see what's up, and then same thing with the Paladin. We'll figure out where that fits. So I think that's most of the background for me, is just, yeah, playing all the different classes, trying to get good at stuff. It's fun. It's really interesting to me, actually, being somebody who comes from, so in Smite, it's a 5-player MOBA. Being someone who comes from that into WoW, Mythic Plus group dynamics are really natural for me, but I find it fascinating how raids work compared to, you know, the way you would try to progress as a team in Smite and like try to get better and try to learn and progress through struggles that you're having. I will say one major beef I have with WoW players, and I'm just gonna actively apply this to all of you. WoW players need to learn how to be adaptable, man. I swear, the only major complaint I have about WoW players is that they are so just so strict on following. They want to follow these strict rules and never deviate, rather than, in my opinion, kind of learning the game and then learning how to like apply the guidelines to themselves. I think the biggest example of this is Mythic Plus with metacomps. Season 1 of War Within, I feel like it was pretty bad. Right now, I'm having a ton of fun in M+, and I feel like there's a lot more variance of what you're able to do among classes. Like, there's the Banshers, like, well, I know it as the Banshers group, at least. I don't know if that's disrespectful to the other players, but the Banshers, like, physical god comp that they run, like, being able to do stuff like that is really cool. I feel like there's way more tank representation. VDH is kind of dominant, but the same way Paladin was last season, but I feel like that gap between VDH to the other tanks is way closer than Prop Paladin to what everyone else was in Season 1. So, yeah, overall, I feel like people are kind of meta-slavey, where they just only want to play what the top players are playing, rather than being really good at what you're currently playing and trying to learn to make that work, or learning to make team comps work around that. So that's one complaint I have with WoW. And then the other thing I find fascinating is that, like, I'm very pro weak aura and very pro, like, making your UI do whatever you want it to do. As you can see on my screen, my UI is not finished. I need to keep working on this. I have a bunch of stuff I want to change, but I'm obviously tracking a bunch of stuff or using a bunch of things. So I don't have a problem with that. What I do kind of find fascinating is that I feel like in WoW, people find like a movement pattern they really like on a fight, and they want to only do that. So like if you put markers down in a raid fight or something like that, I feel like people try to put every single little mechanic exactly on the raid marker, and if they can't do it exactly in that spot, I feel like everyone's brains break down. Where I'm more used to people kind of playing instinctually, I guess, in a MOBA. Like, you might have an idea of what you want to do in a team fight and how you want to execute it, but people generally have a good feel for, you know, if this person's out of position, then our game plan's going to change, right? Like, we might want to kill their mid laner, but if their support is out of position and inting, we're just going to blow stuff on them and just kill them off the bat, because, you know, why wouldn't you? So stuff like that I kind of find fascinating, but the rest of it has been so fun. I kind of love there's way more of a competitive nature to WoW than I thought there would be, which is dope for me, because I love competitive games. I've been playing competitive games my whole life. I mean, I don't know if you'd count WoW as being competitive when I was like 7 or 8 years old, but played a bunch of Halo as a kid, played some COD with friends, but mostly Halo was the game I was really into. And so yeah, I live for it. I live for competitive games with team environments. It is just absolutely where I want to be. This dungeon, by the way, now that I'm watching it back, the overall is pretty crazy. Like I said, it's the first dungeon that I ever did where I hit 5 mil overall. And I feel we're not doing super crazy pulls. Like, we're doing pretty standard Priory pulls, I think. Priory is just a high overall dungeon in general. But I feel like nothing went that crazy this dungeon. Like, I don't feel like my Blood Beast RNG has been anything super astounding. It was on the first mini boss. Like, if you, I don't know if you guys were super watching the gameplay or just listening to me rant, but the first blood beast on the mini boss with all of the like neophytes or whatever, that RNG was crazy. I got one like right off the bat, and then I got another one as soon as that one expired. So you love to see that. By the way, I find it so dumb. You see this mage right here? I hate, if you LOS this mage fully, I've had it cast Fireball Volley through the wall on everybody, which I could not be a bigger hater of. I can't believe it works that way. But yeah, like I said, I feel like it wasn't crazy good RNG. I'm watching these pools, and I don't feel like I played it super insane or anything. I think Unholy is just busted, actually. Like, the longer things live... Did I just not kick and then kill my boy Ali? It looks like I did. Yeah, the longer stuff lives as Unholy, I feel like you just ramp so insane because you get all of your Death Rot stacks up. You get 20 stack Fester Might. You start getting Festering Scythe out. You start getting wounds on everybody, and then you're popping wounds and swords on top of everyone. And it just ramps so crazy. It kind of makes... I don't know if I've hit 30 mil on a pool yet. I think I have on opening pools. Like opening pools of like Cinder Brew and stuff like that. I think I've hit like... I for sure know I've peaked at 28 mil. Like minimum. Or like I've hit 28, not peaked at 28. But I know I've looked over once towards the end of a pool and seen 28. But that's my favorite part. Opening pools is Unholy. I'm trying to get better at them. Like Workshop, for example. I hate the way tanks pull the first pool of Workshop. Every stupid tank loves pulling all 4 packs, bringing the 6 bombs into the center of the room, and then they sit there in the center when all of the circles are, like, all of the, you know, deployable, like, fire circles are coming out, while all the bomb casts are going out, while all the saw blades are going out, and then people are confused when they brick the pool, and it's like, brother, I can't hit the mobs. So I kind of hate that. I'm trying to learn to get better at the first pool chaotic start of a dungeon. Learning how to do damage without inting and just dying for free. I'm trying to get better at that and learn what's up with that. But yeah, man, I feel like Unholy can spike. Like if you're looking at the meter, I feel like Unholy can spike, you know, 15, 20, 25 million on a lot of big pulls, and I feel like I haven't really hit crazy spikes. I've had a few pulls where I'm getting over 10 mil, but overall, this was just a really consistent dungeon. Magic Feet is also just the GOAT. So Magic Feet and Ali are 2 of the friends I've been playing, and if you're from Smite, then you know who Feet is, and then Ali is Joshi. If you're Smite people, you would know who they are, and then Ghost Train is actually one of our guildies, and then I think the Warriors is somebody that we pugged. So, in any case, yeah, Magic Feet is my GOAT. That guy is so sick, and whenever he tanks, dungeons are just so smooth for me, because I feel like I can always... I don't know if you guys, like, any of you who play Melee, I feel like the most frustrating feeling in a key is when you have a tank that makes mobs hard to hit for you. Like, they just aren't aware of where you're standing, or they aren't aware of how to path when like circles are coming out or frontals, and they like split you from the mobs, and you just have multiple globals or multiple seconds where you just have to completely back off and not hit anything. It drives me crazy. I absolutely hate it. That's the nice thing. When you have a good tank like Feet, you just don't have to worry about that. He just does it all for you. He's kind of cradling you in a way, if you were to think about it that way. I'm also wondering, does the Xalatoth affix this emissary, does that count towards your overall? Actually can't tell. This mini boss is psychotic. This dungeon in general, I'd say Priory has been my favorite dungeon of the season. I just think I kind of like the whole Arathi vibe in general. I'm really hoping the last raid is something Arathi themed. I think the culture needs that. Hollow Falls is such a sick zone. But yeah, I love the whole aesthetic of it. I think the boss fights are really fun. I kind of like the routing options. Like, you can do really big pulls, but you can do them really different ways. All of like the mini boss options you have, there's a ton of different skips you can do with like letting mini bosses run by you once you go upstairs. So yeah, I think all of that is it's just a cool dungeon. It's really fun, but it's also psychotic. I feel like Like a 10 Priory, or like, I mean, it's easier once you're up to like 12s, but like a 12 Priory is so much harder than even like a 14 Dark Flame. It's insane. Or even like a 15 Dark Flame, I think, is easier than a 12 Priory. There's so much damage. I feel like everybody is constantly at threat in this dungeon, right? Like, if Divine Tolls or, yeah, Sacred Tolls from the Paladins, if those stack up and you miss one kick on a caster while a toll goes out, someone's dead. If you burst too many of these Risen mobs at the end of the dungeon, your DPS can die. Your tanks are getting slammed on all of these big pools, and also on that mini-boss, tanks get slammed. Ton of healing checks, all of that. Like, if you don't have an immunity, like in this group we have a Paladin and a DK, so having AMZ and Spell Ward and Bubble for the soaks on the second boss makes it really easy, but if you don't have that, I feel like that can also get pretty intense if you're overlapping multiple soaks. But yeah, this dungeon's psychotic, but I love it. I felt the same way last season. My two favorite dungeons, I was playing basically only Prot Pally. Last season, my two favorite dungeons were Grim Batol and Stone Vault. And I feel like those were two of the more tank-intensive dungeons. I am being an absolute terror with this beam, by the way. I just want to hit the boss so bad, but that was awful. Yeah, they're just fun. I really love dungeons where I feel like you have to constantly be engaged. Like, it's the main thing that makes Mythic Plus fun to me compared to Raid, is that you have to be constantly engaged at all times, I feel like. Don't tell me my Death Rot stacks fall. Oh, thank God. If my Death Rot stacks fell there, I might have had a mental breakdown watching this video back. That would not have been cool. Would have been very uncool. We're missing count, aren't we? Oh, I was praising Feet so much, I forgot he fucked up the count on this dungeon. We're at 95% after we pulled the whole cathedral. We've been messing with a lot of routes in Priory. Like I said, I think it's so cool that you just have so much variance there. We got 2 sets of ads. We got 2 sets of ads and we messed up our account. That is awesome. What a treat. We're really good, by the way. Former Smite professional and, you know, amateur professional, whatever you want to call it, level players. Just absolutely stinking it up in a 10 Priory. You love to see it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Hopefully you guys have had fun watching. I think you'll see the overall at the end of the dungeon. Like I said, the first dungeon I ever got over 5 mil overall on, so I was pretty stoked when I saw that. I was like, oh, maybe I'm not a completely trash unholy DK. Maybe there's hope after all to learn this. But yeah, as of the time I'm recording this, I'm about to get ready to raid. I think we have sticks at like, we're 2-day-a-week raiding guild. We have sticks at like 20-ish%. I feel like we maybe had a wipe last night at 18%. So hoping to get that down and then move on to Sprocket. I'm so excited for Sprocket. Sprocket and Muggsy, by far my 2 favorite fights this tier. I think they're so fun to play. I love the movement of them. I love all the mechanics, the movement patterns, just everything about them. I feel like they're super entertaining. I feel like every pool you have to be super engaged, and I feel like yeah, it's a blast. But yeah, anyways, that's it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching, and you can definitely expect more WoW content to come, both on this channel and on my Twitch, and I'll see you guys later.